she probably would tell us that she was like 65, so it's okay. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to give Nathan 5 more minutes. So in that 5 minutes, you have 30 seconds. I want your highest high and your lowest low of Veritas. And we'll start with Ian because he's got the biggest smile on for some reason.
Man, I don't have anything specific. It's a great question. I think one of my lowest lows was, I don't even remember what we did that day. It might have been like a prep day before we even did a trip, but I, as always, was ravenously hungry. And all we had was kale, like just like bowls and bowls of kale. And that was just one of the most dismal experiences I've ever had. Like, I remember you added like salmon in it, and I was like scraping the bowl, like trying to like eke out another calorie. I was so hungry. Like, I hate kale too. So I was already like, that was a low for me. That's all I have to say. I think I'd like snuck a bunch of brownies on the trip to my mom sent me with, and I ate those too, and I was still
nice.
Hungry. Still low. What's a high that I've had with Veritas? It's hard to choose, honestly. Definitely been on some epic trips. I don't know. I feel like getting to the top of that just 12,000 foot pass on our big conquering trip in Colorado was really rad. Just to see how far we come over several days and to make like a really strenuous last push on that final day was really awesome.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Poor Nathan. I wish he was on here for that because gosh, that was a long hike. Very long hike. All right. Jathan.
Popcorn? Perfect. Okay.
I'll start with a low.
Why is everybody starting with a low? What the heck?
Because I want to end on a high.
Oh, I got it.
Is that fair? Okay. Well, I just have one word. Rationing.
So apparently food is a general theme of apparently I didn't feed you enough. Got it. Cool.
It wasn't that.
No, it was not that you didn't feed him enough.
It was the having to learn that you only have so many like granola bars in the day. That like I would have my lunch eaten before noon, like almost every trip.
Yes, I remember that. And then you ended up stealing food from the girls.
No, I was often given to me.
It's a good ploy.
It was often given to me, but
trade.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like
anyway.
you like took down our tent for us, and we would like give you a granola bar.
Give a mouse a cookie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
high.
My low.
Sorry,
anyway,
go high.
My high. Honestly, it's really hard to like. There's just been so many good moments and memories and stuff. But if I were like, probably one of the most memorable ones for me was honestly just our first trip to Big Bend. Like that was my first trip. Honestly, I hadn't had the experiences to be able to go, or haven't yet. I've yet to have any experiences like that prior to Veritas, and so like being able to do that, and like I just remember like the anticipation of like getting to the top of something for the first time, and like just like step after like, oh, you know, we're almost there to the point of where I had gotten lost, or so y'all thought.
No, we didn't think. I knew you were lost.
I was on the trail. I stopped where it was.
You were on a trail. It wasn't the right trail.
I was on a trail, and I got up to a point. I didn't know which way to go. The arrow had to. Anyways, but just I guess like having that like I won't ever forget our first trip. And just how like eye-opening and I guess like world opening, just to like have the like want to and desire to like want to continue to do stuff like that, you know, and go out and have an adventure. So
awesome. All right, William.
Yeah, so low was probably the first trip to Mount Harvard for me, where didn't eat enough at all, and then I got really sunburned, and then like on the way down I like rolled my ankle. So
Trey understands. Got it. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Weren't you using like like literally hobbling like the last 5 miles on a stick? Oh gosh, yeah. I do remember that now. Jeez.
Yeah.
Okay, a high. Let's go with a high.
Yeah, and then the high was the next time I went there, where I did make the top, and then I didn't get sunburned, and I actually did eat enough, so it was good to see my, progress.
And who did
Yeah.
you get to make it to the top with that time?
I think everybody.
Yeah, but no, come on. There was a special someone there on that trip.
Oh, my dad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
your dad got to go on that trip, so that was pretty cool, I think.
Yeah.
So we're 3 for 3 on the food being a low. That's great. Let's
I'll
keep
go.
it going with Trey.
My low actually is not rolling my ankle. My
Awesome.
low was my low was when we got back from, I don't think it was my first trip. I think it was the same trip Jathan's talking about, where I
Mhm.
decided to get a medium rare steak and I got sick. That was actually my
Oh,
low.
so
Yeah.
we're 4 for 4. This is awesome.
No, that one wasn't your fault. That was mine.
Well, I should have been like, well, medium rare. It's a little,
Wasn't
could be a
there that
little
time that Grant
iffy.
didn't let us get burgers? I think that's my like other new
Yeah.
low. That was terrible. Yeah.
I know, and I
definitely
would
another
totally
food
change
low.
my stance on that now too, which
Sure.
is just crazy. All right, hi, Trey, hi.
I would say my high was always the journey getting to the top, except for
Oh,
the
wow.
part where I rolled my ankle, but the journey on the way and then getting that privilege of seeing the view and seeing what I made it to.
Mm. So I did succeed in something. Yay. Not just the destination, it was the journey too. Awesome. All right, so let's go, Eric.
The low, I was just like going through and thinking about everything that happened. And I think the lowest low is probably the bungee jumping and not jumping. Yeah.
We're gonna have to go back. We're gonna
I
have to go back.
Because that was like just didn't do it. I got too scared.
It's all
But,
good. It's all good.
But yeah, I know I'll have to conquer that fear.
Yes, it just gives you another chance to get back. I mean, it's not like a horrible place to go. So,
No, I would love. Yeah, it was beautiful, and I think that was probably my high. Is tied with like New Zealand and just the sights in New Zealand, and then I remember the Grand Tetons where we stopped like for a rest and saw the marmots running around, where it was a flat area and you could just see all the mountains
in the
like,
background.
Yeah. And just like that view, and then like the views, but it's the tie between those and New Zealand were pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, one of my favorite pictures is still that staged like fight scene with all the swords and everybody from the New Zealand trip. Oh, that was good. That'll be reunion trip part 2, where we all go back and go to New Zealand. All right, so we're recording.
Yeah, we want to hear from Rick Davis.
Oh, I know, right? Yeah, I literally had to bum off the Chains of Grace, which is the other ministry I'm a part of, their Zoom account because I didn't have the paid one, so I couldn't go over an hour or whatever.
Okay.
So Rick is the executive director of that, but he don't care. He's a good guy. So Martin, we'll start with you and end with Connor.
Okay, so my low is actually not food related.
Yay!
Do you remember they're both on the Conquering trip, that one day, the first day of the hike where it rained like the whole time?
The entire day? Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, that was the low, but it was still kind of fun. And then
because we had to set up all our tents underneath a rain fly. Oh gosh, that was horrible.
Yes, it was very memorable, but you got to know what your limits are. So
yes,
there's that. And then I think the high was definitely the day that we went over the pass.
Really? So not Wyndham?
Yeah.
So not the 14er, just
the
going
like
over the
you
pass.
Do the pass, then the peak is like, you've already done your big push,
Gotcha.
The stakes aren't there as much, I felt.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, and that was like a 12-mile day too. And
and that's a lot of it. A lot of why it was a high. It was because we didn't think we were going to be going that far, and then we ended up doing it, and like we could do it. So
how many times did that happen on the trip? Guys, it's not that far, I promise. Oh shoot. 12 hours later. I'm sure we'll get there eventually.
Just got smile.
Both good. Both good. And I'm surprised that you or Ian, and maybe Nathan would have said this, that the low wasn't crossing the river. Y'all remember that?
That was fun.
That was rad.
Oh,
dude.
man,
That was like that was so good. Not a low.
that was
You almost lost
definitely a
Jasper. That was
challenge for
fun.
me.
Like,
I mean,
where are you gonna get that again?
I nearly lost my wife on that, but that's
He
cool.
would have just hit a rock later on. We would have got her.
And poor Ashley had to be tethered between two guys, otherwise she would have literally been swept down the river. That was good. Okay, Connor, you're up.
All right. So I'll start with, as per the theme of like today, I'll start with my low, which some might say it is the aftermath of drinking all of those energy drinks and then getting elevation sickness on the first full day on my very first trip with Veritas.
Which who said would happen?
However, that is not my lowest low. Oh
gosh,
no,
okay.
it's what frickin' followed, because I had so much elevation sickness, like I couldn't keep down an apple. Like I just felt absolutely awful that entire night and like into the next day. And that was the day that we were putting together our packs, right? And so Grant and like the other people that were on the trip, Trey, y'all had to put together my pack for me. One thing that was forgotten in my pack,
oh yeah,
was toilet paper. And I was way too embarrassed to ask for anybody else's toilet paper.
What did you use?
If I could find it, a leaf. If I couldn't, nothing. I went ahead and put like several packs of underwear in my bag.
Nice.
But I had to go that entire trip without wiping my ass in the woods. And I was like, you know what? No big deal. I'll just like I won't go poop for like a day. Like this was also before I realized that I have a poop problem. I have an issue with digestion, and I poop at least twice a day.
So good.
And
We got the
so-
recording going again.
Did you
Yeah,
have,
no.
did you have any underwear left by the end of that trip?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
I just went ahead and like
Uh,
I kind of like snuck each one into a load just to like make sure that like all of them got clean. So that was my lowest low. Was having
issues.
just my issues. And like there's a whole nother story on like my digestion issues, and that's a different story for a different day. But yeah, that was definitely my lowest low. My highest high, Eric, you actually stole it from me. The pass that you're thinking of is called Hurricane Pass in the Grand Tetons.
Ooh.
And it literally looks like it was taken out of like a poem from like Romanticism era, where like literally nature is described in these poems, and it's you just like walk in and there are like these hills over to the right, and this is also like after miles and miles of just like, oh, we get on top of this hill and there's another hill right on top of it, and we get another hill and there's another hill like right after that one. But then like after all that, we finally make it to that place where you have like the two Tetons just to the right of you, and you look down from this like huge like hills that are just like meeting right here, and there's this pool of glacier water that's just like the purest bluest blue that you could possibly think of. And it was just like a really awesome, just like, God, freaking finally, like we finally made it to this. And then like literally the rest of the trip was all downhill, because the entire trip leading up to that point was all uphill. And so it was like, I think that was the last full day of hiking before we were going back to the van to drive back to Jackson Hole in Wyoming, by the way. But yeah, that was definitely just like the holy crap, we made it. Like this is really, and we like took a moment, like took as many pictures as we could. And like the pass is also super deceptive, because you think it's like not that far, like where these what were those animals that we saw?
Marmots.
We're like, oh yeah, that marmot isn't too far, and you just start like running towards them, and you're like, oh, they're like really far away. Like I did not realize. But yeah, that was definitely my highest high. That and getting to the top of Wheeler Peak.
So just so you guys know what he's talking about, I actually have this as my desktop background, so I'm hoping I can share it with y'all. Stop it, computer. Oh no, I have the stupid, or can y'all see that?
Oh yeah.
We can see it now.
Yeah, the Grand Tetons.
Mm-hmm.
So the pass is actually right there, and then that glacier lake is right over it. So yes, that is probably one of the more epic. I like that hike and that trip just because there was no peak. It was all just views the entire trip. So yeah, it was awesome. So I don't know, Trey, if you ever get up into the mountainous region again, I would highly recommend that one. All
I was
right.
on that one about.
What were you? Yes, you were.
Yeah. I had the blue backpack, I think.
Who was not on? Oh, so William was not, and the twins were not on that one. Everybody else was. And Seth. Oh, good old Seth.
So
Good old
Remember
Seth.
that time that he tried to run up a mountain? Remember
I do remember
time?
that. I also remember the time where Ariel fell in a river and he just like let her sit there.
Just ran past her.
Yeah, just ran past her. I was like, dude, help her out of the river. That guy. Gotta love him. No,
One of those moments you wish you would have caught on camera because it was just like a.
And everybody went on the balloon ride except Seth too, right?
oh
I
Man,
think
I'm
so.
surprised. I'm surprised that went
Yeah.
high for some of y'all. Oh man, I had never done anything like that. That was crazy. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
super
before
cool.
we end, my lowest of low. I mean, it probably had nothing to do with any of y'all. Like it was 2017 when the rug came out from under us and we basically lost all our funding and everything came to a screeching halt. But we've bounced back. So that, as usual with God, he'll take something low and turn it into something good. And then my ultimate high. I think I'd have to go by generation, but I'd say one of the highest highs was the snowball fights that we had with Connor, Eric, Jathan, Trey era.
Was the high whenever I hit you in the balls with the snowball?
Exactly.
I think
No,
that was
see,
my high.
I was trying to like not say that but say it through just the story. But thank you for pinpointing that, Connor. I really appreciate that.
You can
Thanks
always
for
rely
reminding
on me to not have a side just be
Filter?
like, whenever.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah,
Cool.
filter. There we go. That's
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good memory.
Tact.
Thanks for reminding us.
Yeah. And then from the Stalzen era, I would probably have to say I mean, one of the highs was watching how just good of hikers y'all were, because it also ticked me off because you guys just like flew up Wyndham and and then my wife also just flying past me to try and stay up with y'all. I mean, it's very humbling. So that was still a great high, is getting to the top of that with you guys. And then for the William era, like having the father-son duo make it up the 14er, that would definitely be the high there for that. And I think being able to have you, Eric, and Jathan and Ian come back on some of those trips was pretty epic as leaders. So that was cool. So that will wrap it up, and I have now gone officially over my hour. So I'll blame Connor for that, making me say my highs and lows. But I appreciate y'all sticking with me. I'll be in touch since I know y'all all now get the